I said in the very beginning yesterday morning, you know, I've always had this educational kind of aspect to hopefully what panels I bring to the conference and we put on for you guys. And I think the next one really kind of follows suit, especially in the time frame that we're in. When you talk about helping horsemen helping horsemen, you know, kind of pulled off of our motto to inject technology. So right now is a time that a lot of technology is changing, and a lot of it is very supportive. And then some of it, as we're learning now, can also help in what we deal with, understanding what we do, and then ultimately help mitigate certain things through certain circumstances with adjudication process. And so with that, I'll invite to the stage Mike Novak with Backstretch Software, and also Jeff DeAnglis with Horsery AI, one of our corporate sponsors now. Thank you to SIS, Equibase, and RTN who helped bring this panel together for me. There is some additional information in your proceedings and your conference book on each of the products that the guys are going to talk about. But Jeff, again, is the head of sales for Horsery, division of Tavistock Group. And they've been focused on advancing the equine industry through the initiative and technology. And then Mike Novak, he and I met at the symposium. I don't know if Robert's still here, but we met at the symposium, had a great talk. And I learned where he is and the founder of Backstretch. So a cutting edge platform to enhance the user experience and bring data-driven insights really to the forefront of our sport. But developing a product that's very, I think, is going to be very beneficial for trainers in particular now, and having to keep their records. So welcome, you guys. Please come up. Thank you. I am. Yes. Oh, you want to stand? Yeah. Just take it out of the sun. Yeah. I'll wait.
As if my nerves weren't enough already. It's the first time I've done public speaking. So I'm hoping I don't clutch my chest here and call it a day. So I'm here to talk to you about Horsery stall monitoring system, especially after everything we've heard at the conference with everything going on, regulations changing, things becoming more stringent. There's more of a need than ever to have something like this in all of your stalls. I start off by telling everybody it is more than a camera. The traditional CCTV cameras were fine in their time, but there's too many problems with it as they simply record and you can go back and view data. It doesn't help you actually get ahead of a problem. And as Eric mentioned, there's so many issues facing it. We heard about them between yesterday and early even today. Is that now this is actually a real solution for you that you can take forward. We built it out of necessity. It is there to protect the welfare of the horses as well as protecting the horsemen who care for those horses. Too quickly, colic and injury in the track can keep you from racing. And we want to get ahead of these issues and try to support you in any way that we can. A little bit about our background. So Matty Hobe is the CEO and founder of Horsery. He's a biomedical scientist. He has worked for Tavistock Group for 11 years as the head of their technology division, Atlas Labs. He's created artificial arteries, valve stents, bioreactors, plasma injections. Absolutely brilliant scientist and one hell of a nice guy. Tavistock Group is a $20 billion private equity firm based here in Florida, just outside Orlando. All of their investments are typically in innovative technology, real estate, cattle farming, professional sports, and hospitality. As for myself, I became the head of sales at Horsery about a year ago. Prior to that, I was working in Silicon Valley as the head of sales for 2 other tech companies focused in the AI space. Led them to acquisition, put myself out of a job. Found a new role at Horsery, which was great because it actually brought my life full circle to where my life started. I grew up in a small New England town. We used to split our time between there and Woodbine, Maryland, where my grandfather had a thoroughbred farm. That's him in the center picture on the far left with his horse Invermark winning at Pimlico. Growing up around, and that was me when I was much, much smaller, much younger and had way more hair. And growing up around that was great. I mean, it was a very different time. I remember going to the track with him. He'd pull out a pocket knife, clean the hooves of the horses, wipe it on his leg, cut a Snickers bar in half, give it to me and my sister. My parents were blue collar workers, so we didn't really get the same opportunities growing up. Sorry. It actually gets me a little bit now thinking about it. Because of racing. My grandfather was a very simple man. When he passed away, only thing we ever found in his basement were guns and cases of bourbon. But he loved racing. He loved everything about it. One second, sorry about that. Only reason I got to live the life I live now is because my grandfather put me through college with money he won from racing. So everything I have now, I have from racing. I appreciate that every day. And what's great is that it's come full circle now. I find myself living in Kentucky. I don't know if Eric intended that or not. He said you should probably move out to Lexington. I don't know if he's happy about it or now disappointed. I live down the street from him. I'm on a 90-acre horse farm. Best thing I love about it is the people I meet working in this industry. It's been the absolute best folks I've met and had the pleasure to work with in the last 20 years. And I love every minute of it. So with that, it's nice that now we actually have a solution that comes full circle and I can actually do something that actually benefits all of you. So the key issues that you're facing is obviously the health and welfare of the horses. Colic and injury will keep you off the track and the lost performance. Any performance issues, whatnot, keep you from the track, keep you from earning money, keep you from racing every day. Operational inefficiencies, gone are the days of paper logs, and there are many softwares out there that will help you with stable management. However, this is gonna keep it all in one place for you, so you have everything at your fingertips. You don't have to sift through different software companies or anything else to sort. Liability and reputation, this is gonna be the most important for everybody, obviously, in this room. Unjust accusations are probably one of the worst things you have to deal with going through your daily life. And it's the last thing that you need to deal with. As we heard yesterday from the legal over there, going through any kind of lawsuit is gonna be stressful and it's gonna be costly. And the burden of proof is on you to prove yourself innocent. So without something in your corner to actually help you out, it can be a long, arduous process that's actually going to be quite painful in the end. It's going to keep you off the track, keep your horses from racing. Security and privacy is another issue that goes into it. There are other companies out there that are coming into the marketplace like us. What they're missing from it, though, is a lot of the security factors to it. You can't run on Wi-Fi connections. We do a hardwired connection that's encrypted and with advanced permissions. So you and only you have access to any of this data. Also, it's the stability of having a hardwired system, especially a lot of farms that do tours. Anyone can actually walk by with a Wi-Fi scanner in their pocket and they can actually pull your data from the ethos of the Wi-Fi network. And that's why we try to keep everything as private and secure as we possibly can. And that's where we have the Horsery stall monitor. So this is it here. I'm gonna leave it on the table for y'all to pick up, bounce off the floor. I'm sure Maddie would be thrilled to have that happen. But we developed these and we developed it with a multitude of things here. One, we go with a non-contact device. It hangs 9 feet in the back of the stall facing the gate, has a wide angle lens on it, an infrared for night vision and an environmental sensor. The Reason that we go with non-contact is they do have other devices out there that attach to the halter. There have been cases where that halter has then hooked themselves in the stall overnight. The horse can't break free and they wind up snapping their own neck trying to break out. So we try to keep everything as safe as possible for the horses while they're in your care. The real-time insights, traditional surveillance, just like I was talking about, traditional CCTVs, they simply record and they're only good after the fact. If an accident happens, you'll only be able to go back and watch the video feed of it after you scroll through hours of footage to find it. This actually gets ahead of that situation. The real-time insights, as the camera works, it's an AI that learns your horse's behavior. From the minute they first step into the stall, it's learning everything that that horse is doing. It learns how often they typically drink, eat, defecate, sleep, rest, lay down, how active they are, how much locomotion in there, and it's going to learn that particular horse's behavior. And if there are any deviations from that, and then any anomaly will actually set that off, and you'll get a customized alert to your phone that will let you know to get out there before an accident turns into an emergency situation. The environmental sensing on there for noise, light, temperature, humidity, also all stress indicators for the horse. There has been an instance that actually happened in Kentucky. One of the farms, they were moving a tractor off of a trailer, fell off the back end, spooked one of the horses nearby, reared up, bashed his face into the rails inside the stall, split him straight down. They didn't find him for 3 hours. So anything like that will actually set off an alert to your smart device so you can get out there and you can get ahead of anything. Built for stables. So we are the only company out there that actually builds our own monitors. There are competitors in the marketplace now. They are using cheap Chinese-made cameras that they are trying to retrofit with their software and stuff into that camera to make it do things it was never intended to do. You will never find a horsery stall monitor in someone's garage guarding their toolbox. That's not what it's there for. This was built strictly for the equine industry. And everything that we do, we take from feedback from all of you, as I'll get to some of that. So if there's anything that you ever need from us and you want us to put in, you let us know and we'll build it for you. Simple installation. It is just on the back, a few screws, goes to an elbow joint, goes up on the wall. One cable, PoE, power over Ethernet, supplies connectivity and power. Just goes to the TAC room to wherever your router is, plugs in there, and that just feeds out to all the monitors. Simple download on an application on your phone, and you have access to it no matter where you go. I'm gonna help Mike install it tomorrow. We're gonna see how that goes. I'm not that handy, and I don't even think he wants me holding the ladder. The application itself, very simple. You can have everything all in one place. You'll be able to share data with those that you choose, where it's video feeds with your veterinary team or anybody else that you need. But everything is very simple, all in one place, night vision, day vision, non-contact. The streams will look like this here. So your real-time video of day and night, the behavioral tracking. So it's going to learn everything that your horse is doing, how often, as I said, how often they're laying down, eating, defecating, whatnot. Any deviations from their behavior, you can have that set in as alert, because obviously early signs of colic. Your digital records for everything, your farrier checks, vet checks, feeding schedules, activeness, all of that will be out there. So you have that in one place, and then the easy video clip sharing to send to your team. Now, the other thing is they're searchable. So you don't have to go through hours of footage. You can easily just type into the application, a human presence in your place, and it will just bring up the video feed of every time somebody has stepped into that stall and anywhere near your horse. Defecating, it will just bring up all the hours of the day that that's happened, and just the video feeds of strictly that. So you no longer have to go through hours footage doing it. Looks like this here. So the real-time video monitoring, the environmental and condition tracking. Oh, shoot, you know what? I had to write myself a note because of that. Oh, yeah, that's right. The reason for why the real-time monitoring is very beneficial. Actually, when I met with Coolmore and Spendthrift, they said the same thing. They said it will help us actually cut down on night watch a bit. And not that, you know, we're looking to replace people and replace their jobs with technology, but you could use those people better served somewhere else. However, the problem with night watch is this, and they both agreed. You have 200 stalls. You walk by the first one, they're checking, horses living, nothing crazy going on. They're going to keep going, and it's going to be about 2 hours before they turn back around and come and see that horse again. anything can happen within that 2 hours, much like I mentioned with the horse that, hurt his face when he got reared up from the noise. So anything can happen in that time. The nice thing is that these monitors are tracking the most finite details of your horse at all times. So if anything does happen, it will alert them. They can get right back to them, like I say, before it becomes an emergency situation. The environmental tracking, the humidity, temperature, pressure, all stress indicators for your horse. Good to know prior to any kind of race. The custom alerts, you can pick and choose what alerts you have. I know nobody wants their phone going off all day, every day, so you can pick and choose what's most important to you and vital, and then you can set it up to only ping you for anything like that. The early detection. Now, I would say you can't talk to your horse, but I live on a farm and I go out and I talk to them every day, but they don't really say anything back. They're good listeners, though. Sometimes they walk away from me. But, the nice thing is you can't talk to them, but with this monitoring system, you can learn their whole behavior and you can actually get to know when they're starting to get sick. The horses might not even know when they're getting as sick, but their behavior sure will dictate it. These little slight deviations will be clues that it could be signs of colic. And it gives you the opportunity to get out there, deduce it, and fix it before anything gets too dangerous for them. The biological factors, obviously urination, defecation. If the levels get higher, again, signs of colicking. So that's where you want to get ahead of it. Now, probably the most important here is to everybody is going to be a stall contamination side. Now, obviously, everybody knows Ron McQuett's story, speed bias, and what he went through for 7 months with a legal battle and loss of purse, and everything that happens along the way. Met Ron back in September and learned a bit about it. I know I met with Dr. Stuart Brown at Keeneland, and he had actually told me how he was crucial in helping Ron out and exonerate himself and get back on the track. And it was only down to the fact that Stuart Brown spent $1.3 million for cameras at Keeneland. When I met him, he said, "These cameras here are tremendous." He's like, "I wish it got to me 2 years ago." But we weren't out on the market yet, but we are now. And the reason I tell Ron's story is because one of the things, and this also goes into how we want to work with you, is that this is a relationship. I don't look at this as a transactional buy and sell kind of scenario. We want to have a relationship with you that anything that you need from us, if we don't currently have it, we will build it for you. Perfect example of it is Ron said, "Hey, can you do what they did in Germany? Can you build a monitoring system that will actually read the ID badges of anyone who steps inside that stall?" Because, that would be just crucial to figure it out, especially because everyone at the track is wearing the same jackets, same hats. They all look alike on these, grainy video feeds that are out there. So 2 months later, we went out, we built it. So now we have a stall contamination tracking system in place. A lot of people, you wear badges anyway to the track. It's going to monitor every single person that gets in or near your horse at any time. It's going to tell you who was where and when. If anyone is not authorized to be near your horse in the stall, it will also set it off. You can have it set on with week-long or 6-week-long access. So if you have vet teams that are contracted coming in and working with them, you can do that. But this will also help you in that stall contamination by monitoring every single person that walks in and out of your stalls. So you can know everything that's going on. The footage and logs stay for 60 days on each device. You can get a longer log history if you'd like. That would have to go to a cloud, but again, with the privacy and whatnot, we prefer that you don't. The memory device within each monitor will actually give you a good 60 days that you can reference should you ever need it. Hopefully you don't, but that is a real fear that everyone does face. And it is, shoot, ask him. It's, 7 months of legal battles and whatnot. And nobody wants to have to go through that and go through that alone. Like I say, burden of proof is on you to prove yourself innocent there. The operational inefficiencies. So we give you the whole stall breakdown. So you can monitor everything, whether it's rentals of the stalls, the farrier visits, the vet visits, the feeding schedules, the activeness. You have it all in one place that you can actually see and check in, like I say, from anywhere. The security and privacy function, again, this is where we get into using a hardwired solution. they can use jammers, and they can come through where they can grab your data through the Wi-Fi networks. So these are hardwired with advanced permissions and encryption on it. Only you can decide who gets to see any of the data that is in your barns. We do not want it to be allowed to anyone else. What else I want to tell you about that? Oh, and then just the simple to install, but I already covered how quickly that will go. This is actually how the installation looks. So you have a distribution hub that goes typically in the tack room, wherever your Ethernet outlet is. One wire runs out to each stall monitor. Now, for connectivity, I know that's a bit of an issue with some places, but we have it all covered. So if you have an existing wired connection, you're fine. You just plug it right in and go and start it right up. If you do not, you can solve a solution like what Mike is doing with Tampa Bay Downs. You can get yourself a T-Mobile router, and you can plug directly into that. Should you have no wireless connection whatsoever, you can also use a Starlink. That will also be another avenue that you could do. But either way, you'll be covered on whatever kind of barns you're having. The partnership between the HBPA and Horsery. So we fully support exactly what the HBPA stands for and what y'all are working for the welfare of horses and for the horsemen. So that's why I say anything that you need from us, if we don't have it yet, you tell us, we will build it for you. We also do a discount for all HBPA facilities. Obviously, one of the first things people ask is, well, how much does it cost? Well, I mean, how much are, legal bills and loss of time and, missed opportunities at racing and tracks. It outweighs that. Because we are a bit pricier than traditional CCTV cameras, but you are kind of getting what you pay for in that sense too. And we're not just a traditional camera, as I hope I've explained fully. Some of the testing partners we currently have, they all have monitors or are getting them within this week, and they are testing them out. And these are the ones that we figured would be a good representation of what you would like to see. And as I said, if there's anything else that we don't currently offer that you want, you can contact me. We'll talk to the team and we will build it out for you, because as I said, at the end of the day, we work for you. The feed and drink scale is something that is coming soon. We will have that released probably in the next 10 days. It's going to be a digital scale that wraps around the strap for the feed bucket. All of the information will go directly into your application as well, so you'll be able to know exactly how much your horse is eating and drinking per day. Secure Stable goes into the stall contamination side. We are working on the idea of doing almost like a life alert button on all of the badge IDs that everyone gets. So should something happen in that stall and anyone gets injured, they don't have to fumble for a phone and try to call anyone for help. Tap your badge, someone will be on the way. And then, as I've mentioned, your wish list. Anything you tell us that we don't currently offer that you'd like to see in there, we're going to make it for you. So you just let us know. It's how they'll look in the stalls. Like I say, peace of mind, performance, and protection for your horse's well-being. Here's our contact us. Those emails will go directly to me. So if you reach out, that's also my cell number. I live on a 90-acre farm in Paris, Kentucky. It's isolating. It's lonely. Please, for the love of everything, call me. You can call me anytime you want. 7 days a week, I will answer. But if you need anything at all, feel free. You have any questions, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. I don't mind. I'll be here till tomorrow, till 1 o'clock, and then go help Mike put him in at Tampa. I'll be at the track. If you have any questions you want to ask, find me at the bar. Like I said, first time ever up on stage. I'm going to be right there right after this is over. Find me there. Happy to buy you a drink. I will have two, and I will answer all your questions and make sure that you're happy with everything. So other than that, thank you all for what you do. What you do for the industry. Eric, for having me here. I almost fell down that one.
That way, it's time for questions.
Very much.
right. All right. Want to thank Eric for the invitation here to talk to you today. My name is Mike Novak, and I am the founder and creator of a new product called Backstretch. So I have a bit of a history in technology. I've been working in the industry for about 20 years. Been a horse racing fan for an extremely long time. Had some opportunities to do projects within the horse racing space for technology, and it's always fun because it's great when you can, you know, get excited about what you're working on every day when you wake up. And you know, it's become, you know, such a great part of my life being able to work on this project every day, all day. You know, going from, you know, just even having my family at the track with me. You know, it's been a busy year of building this out. And yeah, my home track, I'm from New York. I live halfway between New York City and Saratoga. So during the summer, I can shoot up to Saratoga and spend, I mean, as many days as possible at the track. It always feels like there's never enough days. Come September 2nd, it's like, wow, it was June 11th yesterday. And, you know, all the way down to Aqueduct and going down to the city for racing. And, you know, being able to bring my kids and my wife has been, it's great. They love it. Every week my son asks for going down to Aqueduct this weekend, or, you know, Saratoga, he can't wait for school to get over so he can get up there. And so it's been great. I spent a long time working at Microsoft on a bunch of different technologies, most recently Outlook. So if you use Outlook on your phone, I did write some of that code. But I will give you a little bit of a background on what Backstretch is. So there is a stable management aspect to it, but you know, my goals for this product are much bigger than that. You know, I would like this to be sort of the digital platform, the portal to get any information that you need about your stable. So in its current form, what you can see here is, so these screenshots are the 10 Strike Racing portal. So they've just been onboarding very recently, having all of their stable updates on there. And you'll see we've got a feed of races on the mobile screen. And so the idea here is you're getting all your information in one spot. So in 10 Strike's case, they would go through and they would manually add all their entries. They would send out the emails with all the information of what's coming up, in addition to how the horses are training or the notes from the trainer. It's a very manual process. And it was actually funny. As I was trying to figure out like what I would be working on next after Microsoft and spending time up at the track with Marshall from 10 Strike, and we were sitting at the table, and the whole day his phone would he saw these alarms going off on his phone. I went over it after like 5 or 6 of them. I was like, how many alarms do you set a day? He's like, oh, every morning I wake up, I set an alarm for the post time for all my horses that are racing for the day, so I don't forget to tune in and watch. And it just dawned on me. I was like, that's crazy that, you know, the solution here is to use your alarm clock every morning on your phone to know when the post time is coming up for your races. I said, there must be a better way to do this. And so one of the core features that I had built in was being able to just get those automatic post time notifications a few minutes before the scheduled post. You know, the different post time drags across tracks. It's not always perfect, but it does give you enough notice where you'll actually be able to tune in if you're not there at the track. And so let's see here. So one of the biggest things too is when you're going into the product for the first time and you're setting it up, I end up looking through some historical data to try to pull what I can from your stable, whether it's on the owner side or the trainer side. You'll see a couple different sections where horses that the platform believes are active, some that, you know, if there's been, you know, 200 days of no activity, you could, I don't have a technical, you know, an exact detailed signal as to like, is this horse, you know, still in training? Is it, you know, out on the farm in rehab? So there's that, it breaks that list out. And then there's the archived list, which I've detected, an end of your ownership and, that horse gets put into your archive section. And you have the ability to search and add. But the idea was that if you have a good number of horses, having to sit there and manually add them all in, just it takes time. And if I can build something with technology to make that easier so that by the time you sign up, you can get one button in and you're looking at up-to-date and active information for your stable, all the better. So it's extremely easy. You can set up an account without having to add any sort of payment information up front. You get 30 days to at least, full access to what the platform has. And, at that point, you'll get prompted for a subscription. I'll go into more details about that. So as I mentioned, stable notifications. So what you're going to get here currently in its form, it's a web-based product. So all the mobile screenshots are of the website. There are native applications that I'm currently developing that'll be available later this year. But the mobile interface is extremely optimized for the small screen. And the way that it'll deliver notifications to you is you can receive text messages or emails. And under the settings, every user has the ability to set which of those, which notifications they would like, and then how they would like them. So in this case, you can get race entries, you can get the results, post time, workouts, and any updates that any user has put into the platform as far as an update goes. So if that's a photo or a video of a workout, or maybe it's the winner's circle photo, those updates you can get as well. And for claiming activity, if I pull in a result from a race and I see that the horse claimed out of that race and that horse is yours, I will go and automatically add that to your stable for you, and then you'll get a notification that the horse has been added to your stable. And it works the same way if your horse gets claimed out of a race. It'll set the archive date for you, and you'll get a notification for that as well. And then also just scratches and cancellations will come in. So the stable updates themselves, they show up on the horse's individual page, and then there's also a stable level version of this screen. And you can attach any documents to it. You can attach a photo, you can attach a video, several of them. There's no limit on the attachment there. And then notes that you can put in for the text of the update. And in this case, this update doesn't have the comments enabled, but when you're going to create a post, you can choose whether or not to have comments enabled. So you can have a conversation thread in there. And, this could be just updates to syndicate partnerships. This could be just individuals within your stable. They don't have to necessarily be, something that this one is from 10 Strike. It's a partner update, but there could be other things that this could be used for, like this feature. I mean, the updates is really just the ability to have just a place to put free form information or, link to a PDF or post a photo. And so there's it's an opportunity to really collaborate there. Also, one of the other features that I had added was being able to have a stable website, which is just basically a stable page. The first version of this is extremely basic. It has your entries, your recent results, and the horses in your stable. Coming soon, there'll be in the menu a page that will let you fully customize this out. You'll be able to pick and choose which of the stable updates that are part of your platform that would show up on your public page. You'll be able to point a domain at it. It's all sort of just included in the sort of base product of Backstretch, and just gives you an opportunity to have a web presence without too much effort. The entries and results will all automatically populate for you, so you don't have to go and remember to add that information to your website. It'll just show up for you. User management. So the platform supports any number of users in a stable. So this could be, as far as 10 Strike goes, a big partnership. It could just be, for smaller owners, it might be, them and one other person. But you can create groups. You can add users to groups. You can have horses that are part of specific groups. You can have more than one admin as part of the platform if you have more than one person helping manage things. It's generic enough where it could cover a lot of use cases as far as users go, and gives everyone access and puts everyone in the same place, which is really what the goal of the platform is. It's to just bring a lot of this information into place and make it easier to communicate and stay on top of things. And stable connections are different from users in the fact that if you co-own a horse with another stable, or your trainer has their own stable, in the case of Backstretch, the idea is that, you know, this is not just a product that a trainer has to invite all their owners to. Owners can sign up, they can start using it, and they can get a lot of these benefits of notifications and just having a dashboard to look at, you know, who they have coming up running on any given week. And so the idea is that your stable can connect with another stable so that you can share the mutual information with each other that's relevant. So horses that you co-own, you can, or the trainer can have the updates for a horse, the mutual horse for each of these different stables. And the idea is that, and then the rest of the information regarding your stable is your information. They don't have access to that. They don't see that. The entire point is that you have your stable, you have your place where your information lives, and then when it's relevant and you're connecting with another stable, you have the ability to share that information. And at each step, it will prompt you if it's something that you want to share outside your stable, especially if you, even if you put a stable update in for a horse that you co-own with a few other stables who also use Backstretch. If you don't enable that post to show to your connections, then it just remains within your stable. So the idea is you get kind of the best of both worlds. Like you can still have your own internal posts on those horses, but you can also share that with connections as well. And the pricing right now, it's a $10 a month subscription for the product, which includes all the notifications, all the subscriptions. There's a lot more features. I have my roadmap slide is next. I spend a bit of time on that one, but the idea is that, you know, I want this product to be accessible. I want this product to, you know, really enhance the ownership and training side of horse racing. And there's a ton of features coming. Some of them will be add-on prices in terms of expenses and billing management and tax form generations. And there's a lot more that is coming. But at least if the expense tracking and things of that nature are not relevant to you, at least you're not paying for a large software package that has, you know, 15% of the functionality that you're looking for. It's really trying to, you know, bring people in to provide a base product and then give them the opportunity to add on the functionality as they grow. And so, as I mentioned, some of the things that are coming, a lot of, you know, just features for trainers to sort of manage their day-to-day, you know, their morning agendas, their works, have a place for document storage on each horse. And that document storage is really just that. It's a repository for you to be able to keep all of your stuff in one place for your stable. The expense management on the training side is very important. I mean, billing out owners is sometimes a very time-consuming task. As I was getting ready to build Backstretch, that was also one of the key points that I had heard a lot from friends where, you know, some just had trouble. Like it's a burden, you know, on some of the smaller trainers that are doing things a little bit more manually than others. And, you know, there's a wide range of technology out there. There's a wide range of skill set with technology. And so, you know, I have friends that are owners that they miss an invoice because the right person wasn't CC'd on it, or, you know, they were delayed on it because they just didn't see it. And so what Backstretch is going to be doing with expense management is making that process easier. So on the trainer side, you're able to set your day rate at either the stable level or the horse level or location. You know, if you're operating in Tampa versus New York and you have a different day rate, you can configure all of that information. And the idea is having that information on the platform and then entering the expenses then allows the software itself to start taking out a lot of that manual work. So at the end of the month, when you have to generate your invoices across all of your owners, you can tap a button, and even if you have multiple owners on a horse, you're able to set the percentage that they're in, and it'll generate those invoices. It'll send an email with a PDF version of that attached. And then the platform will also allow owners to pay their trainers through the platforms. The trainers would have essentially their own merchant account through a payment provider, which will then allow them to facilitate those transactions. Backstretch doesn't have to, we don't play a part in that financial, like we're not taking the money and then handing it off to the trainer. The trainer is as the owner is paying it, it goes directly into the trainer's account. And really the process there is to streamline and make it more efficient so that you're spending less time doing those tasks and spending more time with the horses, which, I think with the goal of this is to really help expand and grow the ownership and training side of the game. And I'd love to see more owners in horse racing. I mean, just from my experience alone, it's so fun. And, if I can produce software that can make things easier and allow, if the overhead means, 10 horses is all your stable can handle right now, but if you can figure out how to become more efficient, maybe you double the size of your stable. And I mean, that's great for everyone. That's great, for the industry as a whole. And tax form generation also ties into sort of the expenses. All the information is in the dashboard all year long. It's easy for the system to then be able to generate those forms for you so that you don't have to go through the process of doing all of that. And invoicing ties into that, but even for owners, expense management, it's not just necessarily the expenses you get from your trainer every month. And so you also have the ability to add other expenses outside of that to help you kind of keep things in more than one place, or keep things in one place. The stat screen is something that I had in a beta version that a few friends were testing out and really enjoyed. It was just more of giving you kind of an overview of your stable, your earnings per start, or your record in different places around the country. So it's a very customizable screen that's coming soon that will let you kind of tailor it to your experience and the information that you want to see. And the watch lists is another. Watch lists and upcoming race targets are similar. It's, if there's a horse that, if you're trying to claim a horse, you've been losing shakes, but you want to keep tabs on where that horse is, and you want to know when that horse gets entered next. The watch list will be a place where you can have the ability to follow some other horses that you don't currently own or train. And then race targets, it's just the ability, it'll be a list in the dashboard where you can keep track of, the different races that you're trying to target for your horses coming up. And, even for owners, if your trainer's not on the platform and you're active in that aspect of ownership, then it's an easy spot for you to be able to do that as well. And that's all I have. Pretty quick. But yeah, this is it's available now. The platform I've been working on it over the last year, and I'm excited to keep moving on a lot of these new features, and there'll be plenty of updates over the next several weeks. So thank you.
Great, good question.
So you pay like the $10 a month, the trainer pays $10 a month. Then if you want to invoice your owners, they have to sign up and pay.
So on the invoicing side for the trainer, there is the ability to invoice an owner even if they aren't on the platform. So as I mentioned, you'll still be able to add them as an owner. You'll have their email address in the system. So it's kind of sort of like the process goes as simple as possible down the line. So if they're on the platform, it's very easy to even see that right on their dashboard.
Okay.
But if they're not, they'll still have that PDF attachment. They'll still have the email detailing everything. So it also gives you a way to work with owners that might.
And they'll
not
get
have that.
notifications if their horse is in or
Yes.
worked. And then they can pay you through it too.
Yes.
Thank you. I have two questions. One is for Jeff right off the bat. In regards to your camera systems, have you ever talked about installing some sort of like low frequency RFID? I mean, all of our horses are getting microchipped now, and trying to come up with the cost to cover some of this. It's one of the things backsides are always notorious for, is what horses are in what stalls and what animals. And I never was curious if you guys ever contemplated running something so that you could at least monitor specifically the horses that are coming in and out of the stalls.
Yeah, funny. So, I think it was, Three Diamonds asked me about that recently. They said, can you develop a microchip? We don't want to do anything that actually is implanted into any of the horses or worn on them. The cameras actually do facial recognition of horses, which, like I said, is extremely difficult to do. It's easy to do in people. It's extremely difficult to do in animals. We've done over 1 million real and synthetic variations of a horse's face to actually decipher which is which. When you do move them in and out from the application, it's just one button that you would just push to just switch them. But it will recognize if there is a different one inside the stall, it will recognize that that is not the same one. So it's not just based on a stall.
I guess for clarification,
Oh, sorry.
all thoroughbreds now do get RFID chips in them.
Right.
So you're not really implanting anything. I didn't know if you had a frequency
they're-
monitor that could be attached to the camera that could read as they're coming in and out. We have chip readers that now do this, but if you created something that was low frequency enough, because otherwise you're going to get bleed over from having too large of a signal going out there trying to capture every RFID signal that might bounce back. But if you had a small range frequency locator for an animal that came in through that particular gap.
Sure.
It's very finite, and then it'd only be individual cameras. If you have individual cameras already, you can make them individually for the stalls, just reduce that range.
Sure,
So,
sure. Yeah,
it was a
no,
curious.
anything is possible. With the chips, I was talking, I guess I was confused with that from the tracking to, they had asked us for, microchips for biological functions. That's
Yeah.
what they wanted us to start building out to implant, and that's when we were just like, no.
Yeah,
We're
I
not
think,
gonna-
I
we're
think
not gonna do
others have
that.
asked Jockey Club to start doing the temperature ones, because they could do the temperature
Right.
ranges as well. My other question then is for, Mike, and this is a very, pushing for the national HBPA. Is there any way you'd be interested in maybe putting something on there that as an individual signs up for this, that they could click a box in relation to directly receiving national HBPA notifications? When we do our big outreaches, I think that'd be very helpful. I would appreciate that.
Can we piggyback onto your?
Sorry, Mike, I'm putting you on the spot, but you are
No
here
way.
prompted.
No, I think,
Fine.
I mean, it's an interesting point. I think I'd love for the platform to be a place that can connect and push a lot of initiatives. Like I said, that's a brief version of my roadmap. My roadmap is a lot longer, and as I've had users really embracing the platform, it's getting even larger. And so, providing opportunities for different organizations to be able to connect and reach with owners and trainers, and that's certainly an option down the line.
I had two questions for Jeff. Obviously, I guess there may be some volume discounts and things of that nature, but can you give us at least an ballpark on a guy with a 25 horse stable, what we're looking at to install a camera in each of those stalls?
Yeah, so it's, and to go back real quick, I'm gonna write all that out, and we're gonna talk about this and we'll build it. If that's what you want, we will build it. There's a team of scientists that work around the clock and we'll build it. To answer yours, it's roughly 600 per monitor, but one of the other things I actually forgot to mention, so I'm really glad you asked it, even though I price questions. I've been working with a couple of insurance companies to see if this is something that will actually drop premiums. They've all been very open to that right off the bat. They just want to see it in further testing and show us proven use cases where we can do that. If we do, it will drop most premiums to the point where the monitors become a moot point and they're free to use. So, but right now they're about $600 per monitor. And then there's a monthly subscription charge, is $1 a day.
And then a logistics question, and maybe because it's my lack of knowledge, but in that sort of the same 25 horse example, I'm trying to picture in my mind how the Ethernet cables work, because if you got 120 stalls down, that's a 200-foot cable that's got to run. Then the next one's a 190-foot cable. Is there some way that these cables can be linked so it's just one cable? Because the other thing in my mind is I got a router with 4 or 5 empty spots, but I got 25 cables going in there that's got to feed into that router with 4 spots.
So that's the thing. So the distribution hub that we also provide has 20 outlets on it that it's built in. So the distribution hub only plugs in once to your router, and then the 20 for the monitors go out from that.
Okay.
And so that's your base that will be in the tack room. We do run 200 feet of cable and then just put some kind of conduit with it. So obviously also so rodents don't chew through your wires.
So they are, you are looking at 20 different cables or 25 different cables. And the reason I
Correct.
ask is, it's, if you're at the same track year round, that makes some sense. It makes a little less sense if I've got to go to 4 different tracks during the year
Right.
and pack up everything and then run that conduit and cables each time. So,
One of the other things that we are gonna do, probably by the end of this quarter is we're gonna do, mobile devices. Also that you can put inside your trailers that have accelerometers on it, so you can test for turbulence during the ride and stress levels of your horse as well. So from point A to B, make sure that they're in the same condition. But we will do a mobile device. The only problem with a mobile device is then that's gonna have to run on a Wi-Fi. So if you wanna take it to another track, you can, you just won't have the same level of security with the encryption. And we're gonna have just a kind of a clamp that will hold on to the rail in each stall. So, but that's easy enough to do.
No additional questions? Okay, guys, well, thank you very much. Appreciate that information.